California, here I come, right back where I started from, where bowers of flowers bloom in the sun. Each morning at dawning, birdies sing and everything. A sun-kissed miss said, "Don't be late." That's why I can hardly wait. Open up that golden gate, California, here I come. Hey, it's just you and me. Hey, it's just you and I. If you want to use the predicate nominative, hello. It's the no-show. Thank you for showing. California, here I come, right back where I started from, where bowers of flowers bloom in the sun. Each morning at dawning, birdies sing and everything. A sun-kissed miss said, "Don't be late." That's why I can hardly wait. Open up that golden gate, California, here I come. Wah, wah, wah. California, here I come. Um, there's no significance other than I think we're gonna have to all move to California. No, I don't think that's gonna have to happen. Maybe Canada. That's what I'm thinking. Packing the bags for Canada, looking for a Canadian girl to marry, or to finagle a Canadian passport in some other way. Can you hear the sound of Gornamont's crunching on his kibble just off screen? It's a very pleasant sound. Aha, you lived in California for 2 years. Hey, everybody. Hey, David. Hey, Richard. Hey, Neuro. Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad. Hey, Dawn. Hey, Do. Hey, Do. I think that's how they say hello in Swedish. California, here I come, right back where I started from. So he left California, and now he's heading home. I wonder why he left in the first place. Where bowers of flowers. I just looked up bowers not 2 minutes ago. What is a bower? A bower is a shady, oh, I have it right here. A bower is a pleasant, shady place under trees or climbing plants in a garden or wood. Where bowers of flowers bloom in the sun, each morning at dawning, each morning at dawning. That's not a rhyme. I'm sorry, that doesn't rhyme. I didn't notice that before. Each morning at dawning. Also, it's redundant. Dawn is always in the morning. Dawn is never in the evening, unless you're in the southern hemisphere, if I understand that correctly. I think that's what happens down there. Never been. I was once. I was in South Africa. I told that story just the other day. I was on a tour, singing about the apocalypse. At dawning, at dawning, each morning at dawning, birdies sing and everything. A sun-kissed miss. A sun-kissed miss said, "Don't be late." Don't be late. I don't know what that means. I think that's just one of those moments when the songwriter just needed something to rhyme with heart. I can hardly wait. A sun-kissed miss said, "Don't be late." That's why I can hardly wait. Open up that golden gate, California, here I come. California, here I come. All right, you lived in Cali for 2 years. I know you lived in Cali for a long time. I spent quite a bit of time in California. I was there for I was there for the opening show at the San Francisco Opera in 2003. I got there in August. The show was in September. It was called The Mother of Us All, an American opera with words by Gertrude Stein. A bizarre opera. Um, and it's not Virgil Thompson. I think I went through this before. Who the hell wrote the music? The Mother of Us All. The Mother of Us All opera. What's his name? Oh, it is Virgil Thompson. Yeah, that's right, Virgil Thompson. Right. Virgil Thompson wrote the music. Gertrude Stein the words. 1947. It's a bizarre. It's like a pageant. You know what a pageant is? That's like a play that doesn't really have a plot. It's just a bunch of people parading out onto stage. So you had like all sorts of historical figures and then made up figures. I played a guy called India. My character's name was Indiana Elliott's brother. Indiana Elliott is a character in the show, and then I play her brother. And Ulysses Grant shoots me dead. It was fun. It was the costumes were amazing. I feel like I've told this tale before, months ago on this show. But that was it. It was August of 2003. August of 2003. I know I was there right when there was a big blackout in New York. I kept missing all these tragic, all these disasters happening in New York. I was out of town. So I missed that one. And the artistic director at that moment, she had moved from Germany, an American woman who moved back from Germany, and she brought this German aesthetics with her for how to put on an opera. So it was very, I don't know, it wasn't a crowd pleaser. But she did claim that it was the greatest American opera ever written, which I don't think anyone agreed with. La 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 la. Wow 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 wow. All right, we have some members of the audience greeting each other. Mexico, hola Mexico. I don't know, is someone in Mexico? Yeah, so that was California. I was in California. I drove the Pacific Coast Highway, but in the wrong direction, so I didn't get to look over the cliff. I drove from south to north after college. That was fun. Then I sang at the San Diego Opera. That was La Traviata, which is just the Italian word for whore. La Traviata, it's not really the word for hooker, but La Traviata. Was she traduced? Is that what it means? La Traviata. I don't know the translation. The one who goes astray. Yeah, the fallen woman. So yeah, it's a euphemistic way to say hooker. La Traviata. That's some great music. There I played a doctor who just gives bad news. But he gives it with empathy. So I spent time there in San Diego. So I had those two jobs. And then various other visits. Right before the pandemic, I got to spend a few days. In early March of 2020, I was out there on the Queen Mary, which is in Dry Dock in Long Beach. We were shooting a show called Angeline, which is a TV series about Angeline. So, yeah, I love California. I have friends there. Trooping the Colors is a pageant for the pomp and circumstance of the royal family. That's good to know. Thank you, Astral Shoals. La la la, la 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 la. La 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 la. If it's worth telling once, it's worth telling twice. Well, that's generous. Thank you. I was writing a thing tonight, and I'm not going to read it, but I was just thinking about. I know I was a little more, let's say, focused on some issues of politics on the show last night, which isn't normally what I do on the show, but it was really You know, I know the word is overused these days, but I saw these guys do it on a. There's a podcast called Shrinking Trump, where these two psychologists, neurologists, I can't remember what their exact title is. They talk about the symptoms of the leaders of the parties. Mostly, they're talking about the former president, the convicted felon, and his mental state and his decline. It's very good. It's called Shrinking Trump. I recommend it highly. But I just watched their take on the debate, and yeah, that's all I'll say. Very much worth watching, just to have an objective view of this of maybe a professional perspective on what we saw, what we all saw. But here's the thing that I was writing. I was gonna kind of explain why I did what I did, why I was talking last night, and because I did conceive of and carry out this show explicitly as a non-political thing, in part because there's so much good political stuff out there. There's so many good shows and funny shows and insightful shows, and among them David Feldman's show, uh, right at the top of the list. I also love John Oliver and Seth Meyers, and Jimmy Kimmel does great satire. There's lots of great commentary, and then there are those left-wing YouTubers who I really enjoy. But so I didn't feel like I needed to add a voice to that. I wanted to do something that was a little bit of escapism, and so that's what I'm doing. But occasionally it's just feeling. Here's the word I wanted to say. The word is overused. Trauma. There was actually something traumatic. It felt traumatic. Watching that debate, it honestly did. 12 minutes in, when I shut my computer because I just could not believe my eyes and ears. Um, so I was just speaking honestly about that. And I also just want to say that if there's any sense, and I've heard some grumblings about this issue of loyalty, like one member of Congress was saying, "Oh, you can't. How can you be disloyal to the guy just because he had one bad night?" The one bad night thesis doesn't really pertain here because, you know. But without going into that, it's not a question of loyalty. That's the other side. The other side is about loyalty and about cult and about slavish devotion to a single person. That's not what we're about on the left. We're not about that. We're about maybe, if anything, slavish devotion to democracy and to fairness and to taking care of the people who need taking care of. So the idea that we owe some devotion to this guy, no, we don't. We owe devotion to saving this democracy. And that's the context in which I was saying the things I was saying. It's not out of some disloyalty, it's out of a sense of, holy crap, we might need to change horses in order to win. Anyway, that's where I'm at. I know some people didn't like me talking about that, but hey, Gornamus, hey, stop. Hey, that's me. That's a reflection. Gornamus, hey, Gornamus, stop that. Hey, I'm gonna have to put him inside. Anyway, that's what I want to say. If you don't like me talking about that stuff, well, too bad. I'll talk about it sometimes. Um, that's all I'll say about it. Um, and it would be inaccurate to say me talking about that is somehow, uh, I don't know, a betrayal of anything, or you know, them's the facts. Um, yeah, that's funny. You hate to see your reflection too. You know what? It's funny. I think he wasn't seeing his reflection. He was seeing my reflection at the angle. So he thought there was someone inside gesticulating. Um, Yeah, Feldman, your comment, I think you're right. It says maybe I'm cynical, but I think we're stuck with Joe and we need to stand by him. The party lacks the resources to change. No, I think that that is what's going to happen because from everything I've been reading and hearing, um, since he has the delegates, he would have to release them voluntarily. There's no process for moving him aside, and he's not going to release them voluntarily. But that's the problem when someone's, in any case, we don't know. That's the other thing. Ultimately, we don't know what the right strategy would be. We can have our instincts. We can say, oh, this is terrible. This is going to, this way or that way is going to, that way we're going to win. This way we're going to lose. We don't know that. You don't know that. I don't know that. He doesn't know that. We can just go with our instincts. Um, yeah, I'm sticking with Joe. Okay, Bob, I hear you. Um, and again, this is where I just objected to anyone bringing up the issue of loyalty. It's not a question of loyalty to this guy. It's just, of course, you're sticking with Joe. I'm gonna vote for whoever is up against the rapist and the felon. Obviously, the insane rapist and felon doesn't get my vote, and I will vote against him. That's all. So, la 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 da 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 da. Nuro says if Biden withdraws, Harris must become the nominee to abandon the whole ticket of suicide. Again, you don't know that. That's logical. That makes sense. I happen not to agree with that. I don't think she has any charisma at all. I think she's a dud. Very accomplished, but she's not a candidate that is exciting to anyone. I don't think. I mean, maybe to some people she is, but not to me. But again, we don't have a choice. We don't know what the outcome would be of any of these choices, and B, we don't have a choice. So I'm just going to support whoever ends up on the ticket, and I think we know who it is. It's who's on there already. Okay. Um, there it is. See, I just wanted to put a toe into this topic again, and there it is. My whole foot, all the way up to the ankle, and it ended up in there. I had a little coaching tonight, this afternoon, with my friend who's a French professor, because I have this audition for the part of a villain in a movie, uh, a streaming service series, a French villain. It's a fun scene. So there were some nice little colloquialisms that I had my French professor friend help me with. It's already translated, so I was really just asking him for pronunciation refinement. And then I have another friend who's an opera singer who grew up speaking French and Italian, and he teaches diction. So we're going to work on it together also. I mean, I know how to say these lines, but it's a fun scene, so that's a project. That's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow in the car on my way to New York. I'm going to check out if this song is public domain. No, nope, it's not. Irving Kahal and Sammy Fine's song "I'll Be Seeing You" is not in the public domain. Songs typically enter the public domain 70 years after the original artist's death. However, just because a song is in the public domain, it doesn't mean every recording of it is. Okay, in any case, all right, that song's not in the public domain. Oh, this is a good one. This one we're pretty sure is. Another bride, another groom. No, another June. Another bride, another June, another sunny honeymoon. Another season, another reason for making whoopee. A lot of shoes, a lot of rice. The groom is nervous, he answers twice. It's really killing that he's so willing to make a whoopee. You know what? It's a ridiculous song. It's a fun song, but I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood for making whoopee. That old excuse. I'm not in the mood. That's Walter Donaldson and Gus Kahn, 1928. Picture a little love nest down where the roses cling. Picture the same sweet love nest. Think what a year can bring. He's washing dishes and baby clothes. He's so ambitious, he even sews. But don't forget, folks, that's what you get, folks, for making whoopee. Oh, yeah, this is the thing. The next verse is the adultery verse. Another year, or maybe less. What's this I hear? Well, can you guess? She feels neglected, and he's suspected of making whoopee. And then the judge tells him how much he's going to have to pay in alimony. Yeah, that's the punchline. He makes $5,000 a year, and the judge says you're going to have to pay her $6,000. So he decides it's cheaper to stay married. It's a very chauvinistic, outdated song. What do you want? It's 100 years old. And the opera La Traviata is about a hoa. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, wah. Again, astral shoals. You're saying don't cheat on your horse midstream. The election is not about loyalty. That's not what this is about. It's not about cheating. That's my whole point. That's what the Republican Party, they have their heads up their candidate's ass and up their own asses. They're obsessed with this person as some sort of a savior. I like to think we're not. It was a little disturbing, honestly, to see the cheering people at that North Carolina rally kind of mindlessly chanting the guy's name just to encourage him when he was disastrous the night before. The rah 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 thing just seemed totally inappropriate. Not to say that I'm not going to vote for him. I'm going to vote for him. It's just let's be realistic. Not these fantasies about loyalty. That's, as they say, in my humble opinion. Save your loyalty for your marriage, not for your politics. Now, to change gears, I was going to reiterate the very important message that I left on TikTok the other day, which was the notion that if you happen to be a person whose parent is the best in the world at something, if you happen, it's a rare situation to find yourself in, where one of your parents, or both, where a parent of yours is the best in the world at something, like if your father is Roger Federer, or Tiger Woods, or Gary Kasparov, or John Lennon or Carl Sagan. Help me out here. Who are some other people who are the best in the world in their field? If your father's Dostoevsky, here's what I'm saying. It's better to not go into the field that your parent achieved that level of perfection in. It's just a recipe for disappointment, for self-doubt, for second guessing, for second rate, mediocrity. Why did I bring this up? Because that son of LeBron James got drafted. The fix seemed to be in. I didn't follow it at all, but the fix is in when your father's team happens to draft you. And also then I looked, and I don't follow sports anymore, but I looked at his stats. He scored, I think, like 3 points a game in college. So it doesn't seem like he had any business. So there's nepotism involved also. So why did I bring this up? I brought this up because I was just giving advice to this guy, which he needs from me, which is you should find another career. Not that he shouldn't, he's been drafted. Fine, go play your season or two or whatever. Or play for as long as you can. But in general, it's better to find another career if your parent happens to be the best in the world at something. I said the only counterexample of that was Jesus Christ, whose father arguably was the best of all time at what he did. And then Jesus went into the same business, and actually, some would say he did even better. But it ended badly for him. That was my point. Even if you end up being really good at the thing, it ends badly. Wow, 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 wow. Oh yeah, baby Godzilla. Yeah, go into another business. If your dad is Godzilla, that's really funny. If your mom or dad is Godzilla, don't go into the business of breathing fire on to Asian metropoli. People will always compare you to your mom or your dad Godzilla. That was my big point. That's funny, Neuro. Oh, Noam Chomsky. Jim Henson. That's right. If you're Jim Henson's son, don't go into puppetry. Eric Clapton. There you go. Absolute. Elon. Oh, God. Musk. I wouldn't say he's the best at anything, but Neuro, I see your comment now. That's correct. If he steps down willingly, hands over his war chest and all of his delegates. Exactly. And it's up to him. Them's the rules. I agree. La la la, Bob. Bob's going to argue. Okay, I'd like to have that argument with you. I'm just spouting unscientific opinions. Da, 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 da. If one of your dads is the Everly Brothers, don't start a rock folk acoustic duet thing, singing teen love songs. Because then you also have the Everly dad and the Everly uncle. It's a bad situation. Here's a song about a guy who learned a trade. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer out. What does that mean? I'd hammer out danger. I don't even know what that song's about. I'm going to abort. Tonight, abortion is legal on this show. All the way to the 9th measure of the song. That's what I did right there. I aborted in the 9th measure. And I'm in Massachusetts, so I'm allowed to do that. Well, that's a song I haven't done in a while. That's a great song. I'm going to save that for tomorrow night. All right, so here's the deal. I will see you tomorrow night. I will be broadcasting from Brooklyn. I'm leaving early in the morning. And Monday, I have to be at 4:45 a.m. at this job for this for The Savant. That's the series, the mini series on Netflix that we're shooting, The Savant. So my day starts at 4:45. So I will probably be done well before 9 p.m. So I'll probably see you Monday night at 9 also. But if it's going to be any different, I will let you know if I have to adjust the time. But tomorrow night I will see you because I'm here every night at 9. I'll be here at 9 always. Every night at 9 always. When the things you've planned need a helping hand, I will understand always, always. Days may not be fair always. That's when I'll be there always. Not just for an hour, not just for a day, not just for a year, but always, every night at 9, always. Thank you for your eyes and for your ears, and I will see you all tomorrow night. Thank you very much. Sleep well.